Happy Memorial Day. Six Borough Podcast coming to you on Memorial Day. America. Shout out to freedom. Thanks to everybody in the service. Gave their lives serving. All that jazz. All right. We're lucky to be able to do what we do, so thanks. Also, shout out to our sponsors, Municipal Land Survey, 631-345-2658. AS Engineering Services, 631-560-0259. www.asengineeringservices.com. And Made to Thrive, American T-Shirt Company, www.madetothrive.us. On Instagram at madetothrive.us. Today's guest is Angela Flanagan, a.k.a. Flanja. She's a world traveler, talks about escaping Russia, communist Russia, Mother Russia, Putin, all that jazz, traveling the world, living in Iceland, Freetown Christiania, all kinds of crazy shit. It was a real fun, interesting podcast. Second woman on the Six Borough Podcast. Woo, feminism. All right, check it out.
All right, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
Six Borough Podcast.
Yarbs.
Skanga.
Erica.
D-Rock. And our guest,
Angela,
a.k.a. Flanja, on Instagram, right? At Flanja.
At Flanja.
What? Can you explain that? I always wondered. I mean, obviously it's a play on your name.
It's not even a great story. My friends from high school used to, well, they still do, call me Flange. But Flange was taken on Instagram, so I just added an at the end of it.
Why Flange?
Because my last name is Flanagan, and so Ange, Flange, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
Yeah.
Flange.
Yeah,
Kind of just stuck.
You got
Yes.
the second best name on Instagram following you now. Bulk Hogan.
Bulk Hogan.
Bulk Hogan.
It's great, that's you.
I guess
Me.
credit to me for that name.
Yeah. Yeah, but we made it, and I didn't use it for over 2 years. And then I started using it like 3 weeks ago.
And now you can't stop them.
Now I can't stop.
Yeah. Follow hashtag Wrecking Ball for all, for all of Skanga's exploits.
Lots of hot pics of Skanga on that hashtag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no such thing as a not hot pick of Skanga. They're all hot.
You're only getting hotter, right? Because you're down, what, 20 pounds?
20 pounds, yeah, but I'm going to stop there.
Because you don't want to fuck up your wardrobe.
Don't want to buy new suits, bro.
Right.
Suits you could have taken in. Doesn't cost much.
Yeah, but
You're so handsome.
this one already fits me right.
Well, how could it fit you right if you're down 20 pounds?
Well, because I bought it at the end of last summer. When I was this weight. See, I get really fat in the winter, and then I come back down.
You're like a bear coming out of hibernation.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Yeah, enough about you, Skanga.
Yeah. Get off
So, all right. World traveler, Flange. How did it start? Because like your Instagram is pretty fucking cool. I mean,
Thanks.
like I know you went on a recent trip that I followed pretty like closely. You were like on trains in fucking Moscow and
Yeah. St. Petersburg.
yeah, that's kind. I mean it's exciting, but probably sketchy. Like,
Yeah, super sketchy, for sure. Russia especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, but I want to know.
Sorry to any Russian listeners that how sketchy your country is.
We need to play you the best skit ever about
The
a guy.
machine?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There's this guy Bert Kreischer.
Fucking amazing.
And he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and told the story about when he was in college, how he was basically like a flunky in like Florida State, and he signed up for what he thought was Spanish class, and they're like, "No, this is Russian." And he's like, "What?" Like, I'm out of here. And the teacher was like, "Don't leave because otherwise they're going to cancel my class." And she was like a student teacher kind of thing. She's like, "And I won't be able to graduate if you like quit this class. Like, I'll give you C's as long as you just show up," which was like a pass. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Fucking right on." And then like a couple semesters later, he was in like
He
Russian.
goes on a trip with the school to Russia.
Yeah.
Now, to add a little bit more to it, his life is what the movie Van Wilder is based on.
Yeah. We're
gonna have to play it for
Okay.
you. Maybe
Okay.
we'll do it even on the air. Who knows?
Okay.
But, so
we'll get into that.
Okay.
I don't want to get off track too much, but so what made you? Where'd your like fucking, for lack of a better word, not to be cliche, wanderlust come from?
Well, when I guess I was about 21 years old. I was going to Suffolk and I saw a poster for study abroad, and it was in Italy. And like before that, I had gone to Spain once for like in 8th grade. I was in a Spanish class and we went to Spain. Yeah. But I was like 13 years old, and there was no way I could have appreciated it the way that I would now. But so I decided to study abroad in Italy for a summer semester. It was a month. And the year that I actually decided to do it, I bitched out and I didn't go. And
why?
I think because like I was dating this guy that was here, and like I didn't want to leave, and we weren't really dating. He was kind of an asshole, and I was young, and I just like didn't want to. I just
Shocker,
didn't
you
want to
made a terrible decision for an asshole.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad actually that it turned out that way, because I did go the following year. And and I made friends on that trip that will be my lifelong friends forever, and I'm still great friends with these 2 specific girls today. But so I was going to school at Suffolk for business administration, and I went to Italy, and I took like a bunch of international communication classes, and you're in Italy and you're living in Italy, and I stayed in Rome, and we traveled to Florence and Venice, and we were all over the country, and it was absolutely the best experience of my life.
How long were you there for?
A month, 30 days. And when I came home, I remember I was so miserable. I was depressed, even like coming home from, if you can imagine, 21 years old and like spending a summer in Italy and then coming home to Long Island. And I remember being on the Long Island Railroad, and I was just like looking out the window like, this fucking sucks. I hate it here.
This is in Europe.
Yeah, it was not Europe. And
especially like if you're on the shit train, like the shitty rundown, like early '90s trains with the red seats. It's like
nothing's pretty.
Graffiti.
Yeah, exactly.
I like those seats. I swear they're more comfortable, those old seats.
They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, well, they don't break them in like that either. I mean, those seats got miles. They got ass miles, bro. You can't get that anywhere else.
So when I came back, I decided, I don't really know, it must have been maybe a year in between, but I decided to go back to school at Stony Brook for cultural anthropology. And like, I tell people that, and they're like, well, what are you going to do with cultural anthropology? And I don't really know if it'll...
Indiana Jones, motherfucker. That's
what yeah. Like, it's just, I just found that through that trip that, the world is super interesting, and being on Long Island and, like stuck here, even just America in general, is it's a very closed off view of the world. Right. And when you leave and you go elsewhere and you talk to people that live in Europe and are from all over the place, and you get this just perspective that you can't get if you don't leave here. Yeah. And so I went to school for anthropology just because I became very passionate about it. And then, in those years in between, I work at a restaurant and I make pretty good money. And whenever I had some extra cash, I would just book a flight and I would just go somewhere.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then, so the restaurant you work at, they're cool with you, like, hey, I'm going to be gone for the next 6 weeks or whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've worked at, like, 3 different restaurants over the last maybe, like, 8 years. So the restaurants I was at the time, they were always cool with it. And, they usually are, because it's a very flexible schedule to begin with. So,
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was going to say, like, so this last trip, I was away for, 11 weeks. And I told my job, like, listen, I'm going away. Like, they know I love to travel. And I'm like, I'm going to be gone. I don't really know when I'm going to come back. But when I do, they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you back. It's no problem. Go do your thing. They get it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It seems to be, like, the theme. We had Terry from Toast on. And he was talking about, he did, like, a couple cross-country travels. And he went to, India. He went all over the place. And he was working for a restaurant. And, like, he was like, I'd come home, work 6 months, and then guys, I'm out of here. And they were like, all right, whatever. And like, they always took him back. They were cool with it. And then he was also saying, like, that skill set kind of travels well. Because if you decide to, like, put down roots for a little while, you could probably get a job at any restaurant,
bartending, serving, doing whatever. It's the same. I mean, the industry changes a little when you go to Europe. It's not, it's not like this tip-based salary that you're making, and so the service is different. And I mean, but it's the same exact, like it's the same skill set, and you could do it here, you could do it there. If anything, you're more qualified.
Yeah. I had a couple friends tell me they went to Spain, and they're like, "Dude, we were in this restaurant for a couple hours," and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Because it's not, like you said, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So you don't get that same American service that you're accustomed to, and they didn't realize that. They're like, "This fucking waitress sucks."
If they don't check on you, like
no,
they won't be like,
"Hey,
how is everything?"
No.
Yeah, they won't give you your check if you don't ask for it. So you'll just be sitting there like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I thought the whole time in Iceland.
Yeah.
I was like, this service sucks. I was at a bar, like, in the back, at the table, like, we ordered food, they brought out food, and I was waiting to get another beer. She was like, "Oh, you just gotta go up to the bar and get it." I was like, this is weird. I'm just not used to it.
Yeah.
But they're like, "Yeah, go do your thing.
I was eating a
Don't
meal with my cousin came to visit when I was in Iceland, and we were eating, like, sitting down at a table at a nice restaurant, and she ordered a steak, and the steak was like overcooked or something, or she didn't like it, and she was waiting for the server to come back to like check on it. The server never came. So finally, like, some other server walks past us, and she's like, "Hey, can you grab our server? Like, I don't really like my steak." And she's like, "Oh, your server went home. But yeah, like, no problem, And she was like, "Wait, what? The server went home?" Like, the server just peaced out. So,
like, my shift's done.
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna go now. Yeah, he wasn't like, "Hey guys, see you later."
That's funny.
Yeah, if I ever did that, I'd be fired.
Right. Yeah. Like, well, it's different cultures,
Yeah.
But
I've always felt that, like, Europeans, they approach eating much differently than we do. We look at it as a task that we have to get done. Like, we're going out to dinner, we have a reservation for 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We know 8:30 we're going to be out of there, maybe 9 o'clock the latest if we're with friends, and it's fun and we're having drinks and we have dessert. But in Europe, I felt like, especially in Spain or like countries like Greece, like, it's a social thing.
Yes.
We're going to eat, we're going to spend 2 hours minimum in the restaurant, and this is what we're doing for the evening.
Right. So true.
And it's so different than here. It's like bing, bang, boom. We got to get in. Oh, there's nobody taking my drink order yet. Oh, what's going on? We didn't even put in appetizers, and we've been here for 10 minutes.
Right.
Whereas over there, someone might not come over at all for the first 10 minutes because, that's your time to settle down and get used to
your
the
food
facility.
might not even come out at the same time.
Yeah.
The food just comes out when it's ready, and you just eat it, and it's fine.
I think that would drive me crazy. I can't, like, people that, like, sit in restaurants, like, afterwards, and, like, you want to do that? Go somewhere else. Go to a bar. There are plenty of spots that you could go and sit, like, you're at the table to eat. Eat your food. The fuck out of here. That's it.
That's a very American way of thinking.
I don't know if it's necessarily American. America.
Terry would be very disappointed in you.
That's all right. Well, if you're having another cup of coffee at Toast, it's a different thing. But there have been times I've been out with people and, like, check comes, pay the check, and they're just like sitting there. I'm getting fucking real antsy. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get up. I'm just gonna.
It's that New York mentality. Go, 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 go. Get on to the next thing.
Yeah, the next task.
We don't know how to enjoy our time.
It's true.
See, I'm kind of like that guy that you hate because I don't like. I like going out, sitting down, eating, like, bullshitting. But it's weird because if it goes too long, I do get antsy. I get hot in the pants. I'm like, all right, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I have no problem going somewhere else to continue talking, or but just sitting there after, like, your food has been cleared, you pay the check, and, like, you're just fucking sitting there, even if you're in the middle of a conversation. I don't know. I just get real fucking, like...
Well, yeah, if you're not, like, drinking, if you're not finishing your wine or your coffee or something, I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm not like, fucking slam that, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But...
all right, I'm never going out to eat with you ever again.
Shut the fuck up.
But yeah, you're also kind of being a dick to either the waiter or the waitress.
That's true.
Because they make money off another table.
Yeah. No, that's true. I hate when people actually do exactly what you're saying.
Lingerers, man.
Yeah.
And you look around, and usually there's people waiting for a table and shit, and you're like,
Well, that's
I'm just going to fucking sit here
get
and...
up right away.
Right.
Yeah. But it's Long Island.
And I think,
when aren't people waiting for a table?
I think most Europeans would get up too if there were people waiting for a table. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like it's a
slower culture
Yeah.
when it comes to eating over there.
Well, I know that so my stepfather's family's from Sicily, so meals are like a big thing. Like it's, like Sunday dinner would be, you get there at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you leave at like 9 o'clock at night. And you're pretty much eating throughout that whole time.
Right.
Like it is like an experience, a communal
experience,
thing.
exactly.
So I do get that. They Europeans seem to do that even whether it's in a restaurant or just at home eating.
It's their thing. I get it.
It is. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
I have a question for you. Did you said so you didn't go on that first trip, right? You bitched out.
Right.
When you decided to go, was it because you had missed the first one and you made it like a point, like, all right, I'm going to go get that one back?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Okay.
100%.
How long?
Because I totally regretted it, for the whole year.
Right.
I should have went. Like, it was stupid. Obviously didn't end up with the guy. Like,
did you send the asshole an email? Like, hey, dick, I'm away anyway. Fuck you.
Yeah, no. But I actually was still talking to him the next year that I did go. Yeah, it was very, dramatic.
Did you send him a sappy,
And he was pissed, too, that I went, but fuck that.
Serious? That's a long time.
You should have sent him a postcard in Spanish only. Have fun decode. By the time you figure this out, we're broken up.
Yeah, but that's definitely why I went back.
Right.
And I wanted the experience, It was something I really wanted to do. So.
Okay. So now, you did Spain, you came back, realized...
Italy.
Sorry, Italy. We were just talking about Spain, I got confused.
Yeah, it's fine.
You did Italy, came back, and then what?
Then what?
Then what was your next trip?
My next trip?
Yeah.
My next trip, well, I did, I went to Hawaii and Alaska, so I did, U.S. Trips. But,
in America.
yeah. Yeah, and both of those were, Hawaii was super random. My friend just kind of hit me up one day, and she's like, yo, you want to go to Hawaii? The flight was, $600, and I was like, yeah, sure, I do want to go to Hawaii, fuck yeah.
Who doesn't want to go to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Do that right now.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking beautiful.
You'd make a great hula girl. Skanga.
Ooh, a guy?
No, girl.
No.
With that hair?
No,
Some coconuts?
I'd be like one of those,
Coconut bra, grass skirt. I'm totally into it. Ukulele? You have a fucking ukulele.
I do have a ukulele.
Let's get you over there right now.
I'm terrible at it still.
We'll get you some
better.
lessons. We'll get you lessons on the ukulele and on hula hooping.
Okay, yeah, I'm terrible at hula hooping. I don't know if I'll ever get... I think I have a better chance of being good at the ukulele than hula hooping.
You have to get good at both simultaneously, so you can ukulele and hula hoop. You could stand outside. You could just set up shop.
Accepted.
You could set up shop in an airport with a tip jar and probably make $30,000 a year.
Absolutely.
That's not
agree.
going to support my habits. $30,000 to strippers.
Well, if you go into a strip club dressed like that, playing the ukulele, you trade dances, you barter.
All right, they dance one song, you dance one song.
You can give them the ukulele version of Wrecking Ball.
Nice. Oh, God.
All right, so you went to Hawaii.
How long were you in Hawaii for?
10 days.
10 days?
Yeah.
Did you get off the Big Island? Or?
No, we just were in Honolulu,
Okay.
basically, the whole time. We wanted to island hop, but I was still traveling on a budget,
Gotcha.
and it was kind of expensive.
I've heard Hawaii is very expensive, actually.
Yeah, in general it is, yeah. I actually heard Hawaii is, desperate for, I think it was English teachers or some kind of teacher thing that they're promoting to get foreigners into Hawaii so that they can pay them to teach. Yeah.
Maybe I'll sign up.
Yeah.
Let's Google that shit.
Yeah.
I know they were doing that in Las Vegas for a while.
Really?
Yeah, they were offering to build teachers' houses
Really?
if they would come take jobs.
Yeah, because I think all of these tenured teachers are finished, with their teaching,
Right.
and so they're going to lose a lot in that department.
That's awesome.
And you don't, I don't anyway, think of Las Vegas as somewhere where there's any kids.
Right?
I'm like, everyone there's an adult. We're all doing bad things. No one needs to learn anything.
That's the Strip. There's a whole city outside of the Strip.
None of these people who live there have kids.
Where do you think strippers come from? Terrible school systems.
Thanks, Vegas. But that's just
it's
how
more than
I know it's a whole city, but if I think Vegas, I never think anything about kids running around.
Okay.
Is that the whole article?
No, it's taking forever to load for some reason.
Well, I mean, what is it? We're looking at a page.
We're on Optimum, so things don't load very quickly here.
Yeah, we got to upgrade here. Six Borough Podcast needs some infrastructure up there.
So tear out the walls, run some fiber.
Yeah, so after Hawaii, did you go right to Alaska?
No. I was actually dating someone who was from Alaska.
Okay.
So his mom was still there. So we visited his mom for like 2 weeks.
So you got a little bit more than like the normal tourist trip to Alaska.
which is great, which is what I love, you know.
What part of Alaska was she from, or your boyfriend from?
We were staying in Anchorage. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he grew up somewhere around that area.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's maybe like what there in Juneau. There might be like three. I don't know if you call any of them major, but semi.
It's mostly like
areas.
southern Alaska. Once you get north,
were you there in the summer?
I was. Yeah, I was there for the solstice actually, and so there was like midnight sun.
How was it? Was it cool?
It was sick. We hiked a mountain at like 11:45 at night, and watched the sunset. But then, like, the sun kind of just stays at the horizon for, like, 4 hours, and then it rises again.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which is
crazy.
Yeah, which is actually, I'm going back to Iceland June 11th, and the same kind of thing is going to be happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's real cool.
Does that fuck with your body? Like, can you feel like that? Does it mess with you biologically?
I think for some people it is a problem. It didn't bother me at all. Like,
is it supposed to give you more energy, like as opposed to when it's dark most of the time? How like zaps a little bit of the life out of you.
I mean, I think that's probably, like for the people who live there, that's probably how they feel. Like they're more energized in the summer. They can do more things. There's all this daylight. You can hike a mountain at midnight. And then in the winter, when it's the opposite, I know especially in Alaska, there's a lot of depression and alcoholism and
I just
suicide.
picture total depression and drinking for like 6 months straight.
Yeah.
It's so cold out. What are we going to do? Let's get drunk.
Skanga, maybe you need to go to Alaska for the winter.
Sean's going to say, how much weight would Skanga gain in Alaska? I literally was thinking that.
I do that here during the winter. I don't need to go to Alaska.
Just think about here during the winter with 7 hours or 8 hours of less sunlight.
You'd never have to leave. You'd never leave the strip club. Ever.
I go a lot during the day.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but it would still be dark.
Yeah.
Are you paying attention, or are you dreaming of strippers right now?
Less people would judge me. Is that what you're getting at? Like, I'm going because it's technically nice.
Yeah. 6:45 a.m.
Okay
It's the
that.
same as 2 in the morning.
Yeah, but like, I'm sure they're not picking from the best genetic pool up in Alaska. Like, they're not the hottest strippers.
Oh, how dare you? How do you know?
Yeah. But no, I'm sure the normal people are there. But I'm sure the shit of the shit that end up stripping is not good.
There's only one way to find out.
Sorry to Alaska listeners.
Yeah, right?
and strippers.
Yeah.
If I run into an Alaskan stripper, it's gonna be shit because of this podcast. Worth it. Totally worth
it. I have a question about Alaska in the summertime because I heard the mosquitoes.
Oh my
God,
dude!
Really? It's like
I cannot even describe to you the amount of mosquitoes. We went hiking, like backcountry hiking. I mean, it was in the middle of fucking nowhere. No cell phone service, no people anywhere. Like bear warnings and shit. And we had this little boat, and so we were on this little boat. It was in the Prince Edward Island Sound, and we pulled up to this pretty fucking desolate place, and it was this little island kind of in the middle of the sound, and we were getting off of the boat, and my boyfriend at the time was like, listen, the mosquitoes, as soon as you step foot on the ground, they all hide, they all kind of just hover on the ground, and as soon as they feel your vibration, they attack.
They swarm, right? Yeah.
Oh my God. We were trying to set up our tent, and I mean, they were in my mouth, they were in my eyes. Like, you could hear them. You could hear them all around you. They're in my ears. They were fucking everywhere. It was awful. I fucking hate mosquitoes so much. That's what's good about Iceland, is there are no mosquitoes in Iceland. There's no bugs in Iceland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Essentially no bugs.
So no one's brought them over yet. That's what
I know,
you're saying.
I know, I'm fucking knocking on wood.
So you're not getting Zika in Iceland?
Yeah, not yet.
So was it like that in the populated areas? There were mosquitoes like in the cities
for sure.
as well, and okay.
Yeah.
So as soon as you basically went outside, you were being swarmed.
Yep.
That sounds horrible. Why would anyone subject themselves to that?
I have no idea.
I don't think they have a fucking choice, really. I mean,
yeah.
Her ex-boyfriend had a choice. He was like, "Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of Alaska.
Yeah, true.
I'm going down to the lower 48, where I don't get raped by mosquitoes every summer. The only time it's light outside during the day."
From the lower 48. No big deal.
They might say that. Do they? What do they refer to? Do they have like a name for us?
America?
No, I'm serious.
I think you might be right. I think maybe not everyone refers to it like that, but
maybe not anyone.
No, I think that I've probably heard that before.
I picture them talking down about us. That's what I picture.
Like how we talk about the South?
Yeah. Dude, go drive out east on Long Island and go past the Shinnecock Canal, and we're all up islanders. Oh, you're an up islander. And it's like said with like a derogatory connotation. Yeah, we're up islanders.
Yeah. Up Islanders.
Oh, you live up island. And they'll like walk away from you as if they just like slighted you, and you're like, what did I just get? What was I just called?
When I did pools out there, this is along those lines. This is pretty funny. So I used to do pools out there with some guys who were from the area, and they would call girls from up the island bitches, U-tibs.
U-tibs?
U-tibs, up the island bitches.
Wow.
And then they like described every girl I went to high school with. So like, she's a hairdresser. She drives a Dented Maxima. It was fucking awesome. I used to love that.
Dented Maxima with like the bent antenna.
Yeah.
The vanity plate.
Yeah.
Princess XO.
Oh God.
So
awful.
It was funny. Like when they used to say that to me, I would be like, I could name 20 girls right now that I grew up with that do that exact thing.
Do any of them strip?
No. I didn't grow up with any strippers.
See, I picture the Alaskans like referring to us in the lower 40 like a bunch of sissies down there, live where it's warm and it's light out all year.
They don't have to dodge moose.
Yeah, there's no moose, no killer mosquitoes getting at them. Like that's what like I imagined.
Yeah.
So probably what I'd be up there, I'd be like a bunch of pussies down there in the lower 48.
I was gonna say you're like that here.
You just like to have that cool catchphrase, the lower 48. I'm gonna call you the king of the lower 48 from now on.
It's like that. No, the king of the lower 48. I keep picturing the first 48. That showing A. Showing
it would
A.
be fantastic on there. Super stoic. Just I didn't see anything.
Have you ever seen the first 48?
No, I haven't.
There's actually like a stand-up bit about it.
Tom Segura.
Yeah, and I'm going to repeat a little bit of it, but my wife and I have been talking about this show for like the last 3 or 4 years. So there's a show, I think it's on A&E or History Channel called The First 48, and it's like almost like a half cops, half reality show where they investigate a murder, and they have the first 48 hours to try to figure out who did it, because they say something along the lines of like 80% of homicides, if they're not solved in the first 48 hours, they never find who the killer is.
Right.
So every episode is exactly the same. They're in some part of the country in the hood, and somebody gets killed, usually a minority, and I'm not being honest. I've only seen one white person ever get killed on the first 48, and I've seen hundreds of episodes, and there's only one white person ever. And they show up on the scene, I don't know nothing. Nobody knows anything. Don't know nothing. So then finally they'll get like a tip, an anonymous call. So they'll find someone, and the name will be like Little C. And he hangs out
Here we go. We got
on the
it.
street corner.
You want to play it? Let's play it.
6 minutes long. It's a little bit long.
Dookie shoes.
I was talking mean.
So to make a long story short, it's the same I guess, what would you say, archetype for each episode? They can't find out who did it. They bring in somebody in. As soon as they bring them in and put them in the hot seat, they start spouting out a list of names. And then they bring in whoever they think it is from the list of names. And then as soon as the people come in, they're like, you got me. You got me. Yeah, I shot that motherfucker. Fuck him. He stole $35 from me. And everyone, we're all like, why would you crumble that soon? That's what everybody's saying. Why didn't you ask for a lawyer?
Yeah.
One episode, I saw a guy come in. He was just like, I want to talk to my lawyer. And you see the detective stand up. They walk out of the room, they're like, fuck, he wants a lawyer! Fuck, he wants a lawyer! And that was the end of the episode. There was the little white box of text that comes up on the screen at the end that tells you what happened. Little C was acquitted on murder charges. They couldn't get any definitive evidence against him because he asked for the lawyer.
All charges against Tayshawn were dropped. And then in the skit, Segura is like, he's like, or Jim. He's like, well, whatever name. He's like, let's be honest. You all know. He's like, I've never seen an episode where it was like, hey, Tanner. He's like, where were you guys this night? Oh, we went to go pick up Bryce and we had pancakes. It's never happened.
Over at Skylar's house.
Yeah.
That's the first 48, but I'm from the lower 48. I represent.
What would the premise of your show be on the lower 48?
It would just be like how we roll down here. We go outside. We can wear shorts in the winter if we really want to. You don't know.
They have bug spray that works down here. I'm going to show you how we do it.
We get mosquitoes. Once in a while, we'll get bit 3-4 times a summer, but we swat them and kill them. We're not afraid of the mosquitoes because they can't hurt us. Not like up in Alaska. Most of the places.
Sounds like there's a lot more up in Alaska.
I'm not going to lie. I was in Minnesota one summer, and I got attacked by some small bird-sized mosquitoes. They were pretty wild. I was afraid. I would get out of the car and I would just run to the front door. You didn't get the key out? Why is the key not ready? Why is the key not ready? Why are you in your goddamn bed? You're supposed to do that when we were pulling up. I drove.
I would pay to see that.
Were there any other interesting differences between Alaskans and people from down in the lower 48? Did you pick up any other social nuances?
Hashtag lower 48.
They were probably nicer. I'm gonna guess.
I mean, no, there was nothing very different about the people. Maybe they were a little bit nicer, easier to talk to.
Okay.
Because they haven't seen anyone in 6 months.
Were there one of the Inuits? Were there Inuits up there?
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of them, all over, much more than I'm being politically correct,
more
Native American population down in the lower 40s.
Is Inuit politically incorrect? Isn't
No, he was saying he was being politically...
Yeah.
And I might have burped up some of this beer in the middle of it.
That looked like it physically hurt you to be politically correct. You look like you were in pain.
I have bruised ribs right now, so that's why I had to hold on to my chest.
Whatever helps you sleep, buddy.
I heard something about Alaska. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe you can help me out. But because the towns and cities are so far away, and to get to them, to travel is really through the elements. It's through the collusion and stuff like that. That in the winter you have to have supplies, certain amount of supplies, and
I would imagine
candles
so.
and stuff. Because if your car breaks down, you're fucked. You have to camp in that car, and potentially for a day or two, and to stick it out. That everybody who's gonna drive any significant amount of time, you have to plan survival shit in your car.
They could get several feet of snow in the winter just in a night.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Yeah,
we have 2 feet of snow, and all of Long Island shuts down.
Bugs out. Yeah.
Well, even beyond driving to have supply, you can't drive to a lot of the cities. You have to fly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can't
Snowmobiles,
right?
And other means.
Part of my job previously was dispatching technicians across the country. We had some of our equipment getting installed in Nome, Alaska, which is
up there,
fucking up there, real far up there. It took not only the flight; it was our technician out of LA, so we had to take a flight to Seattle, a flight to Anchorage, and then 3 small puddle jumpers to get to fucking Nome, Alaska.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's beyond crazy up there. Like
yeah, because there's no civilization up there. You know, I mean, it's not like you know, you would be living in Nome, Alaska, and you'd drive to Anchorage to get supplies. You know, like if you'd have to go up there fully stocked with shit. Like,
I feel like you really have to hate other human beings, like not certain other human beings, but all other human beings, in order to live up in like a community that small.
So why do you not live there?
Well, I like people, but like, say you only have like 400 people that live in your village. Like I mean, how many houses are there? A couple hundred tops.
This is pretty much it. This is
like, what kind of gene pool do you have as far as procreation is concerned? Like, everybody must be partially related.
Well, I mean, think about Iceland though. Iceland's population is 300,000, and they actually have, because it's actually a problem that if you're related, if you're out, you know, at a bar and you're trying to meet somebody. They have an app, like a lot of them have an app installed on their phone where you can like bump each other's phones and it'll tell you if you're related to each other.
Dude, that's so nuts.
I swear to God.
Wow.
And it's very much in use because 300,000 people, you know, you don't have a lot of foreigners coming in and like adding to this gene pool, and it's very much like they're all sort of related, and they pretty much, like, there's, like, 1 degree of separation of, like, people that they know. Like, if I know you, you know, what?
Shit, yeah,
see?
I Googled it.
It was like the third most popular search.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude.
Icelandic app, make sure...
The incest app. Holy shit.
Your relationship are becoming kissing cousins.
I wish I knew that when I was in Iceland. I would have been just tapping everybody's phone and being like,
What's up?
What's up, new DNA?
That's better than fucking Tinder. Like,
way better than swiping right.
You're like, knock your phone together, like, yeah, we could do this.
We could do this. You'd have a line outside your fucking room.
Yeah,
that's such a good pickup line too for somebody that's.
I'm not your
cousin.
Hey, let's bump phones tonight. And if we're not related, let's bump uglies. That's real interesting.
Yo, that's so wild. That's something that you probably wouldn't believe unless it was written on the internet or somebody had told you that had been there. Like if somebody just told me that, like, oh, I was in this foreign country, population's real low.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to not sleep because I'd be like, oh, maybe that's something that certain people that are like hypochondriacs worry about.
Right.
But
when someone told me that when I was in Iceland, like an Icelandic person told me, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're full of shit. Like, how gullible do you think I am?
I was so close. I almost nailed it. Look at
so here's the slogan for the app that they have. The slogan is, Dave, I'll let you say it because you're real excited.
Bump in the app before you bump in the bed. I almost nailed it without even knowing it. I'm so proud of myself.
I like yours better.
Look, they even have a video tutorial to do the bump.
Yeah, can you say it? Look, what is that? Findu.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the Swedish chef? Where's he at? Sounds similar. I mean, I know Iceland and Sweden, but
bump.
That's insane.
Yeah, I guess that is a problem in a country that has less people than essentially my town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We need to make an app like this, but it's for like where you
scales.
Lower 48.
It's a you bump each other's phones and it tells you if you're compatible, because obviously we don't have the incest problem here. It's like it would make for great pickup.
Yo, we could do that just with Google Analytics and like Facebook Analytics. It could be a bump that tells you if your analytics, like your likes, line up.
Stop talking. This is,
all right.
No, that might backfire though, because if you have real sketchy searches in your fucking history, it's like, yeah, I don't know about this guy. This guy searches strippers from Alaska nonstop.
Great hair and strippers from
He's
Alaska.
not your cousin, but you don't want to be related to him at any point. You don't want to have any sexual relations. No thanks.
I think this could be a thing for us.
Yeah,
what is it? $100,000 to create an app?
No,
a little bit less.
Much less.
Well, I want a good one. I want one that at least partially works.
You could fucking hire a kid in high school to write you an app right now.
Yeah, we want a good app though.
Yeah, you just grow.
Anyway,
Get started.
Let's not discuss that further so we can keep our money.
Let's talk about Europe.
Okay.
All right. So I know you've been to Spain.
Yeah.
Where in Spain were you?
I was in Madrid, but like I said, I was in 8th grade. So,
so you were very young when you were in Spain.
That was the first time I ever left the country.
Okay, gotcha. So you don't remember too much, or
I mean,
there was no apps in 8th grade, so you didn't have any fun.
No, things were very different.
Did you go to a bullfight?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really. I just remember like eating some weird food, seeing a bunch of churches, and
they're big into churches over there. Yeah. I went to a lot of churches.
Well, European churches are beautiful, man. I mean,
they put in a lot of work for that guy.
yeah.
So I heard Jesus is real popular. So he's like the Coca-Cola of Europe.
So fast forward. You just recently went on a trip, essentially all throughout. What would you call that? Like Northern Europe?
Well, I'd say like Northern Europe and Scandinavia.
Where did that trip start?
It started in Finland.
Finland.
Yeah.
I've never been to Finland, but my father has been to Finland.
Yeah.
Tell us about Finland a little bit.
Why Finland?
Well, why Finland?
I was gonna make a fucking terrible Finnish joke, but.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear. Yeah.
No.
Finish.
Nope. Now you gotta top that.
Yeah, well done. That's exactly where I was going with it. Because you gotta start there because you can't finish.
Okay. Well, that's Skanga. Let's just rename that country Skanga.
That's great.
So Finland.
So Finland. I don't even really know. Like, the whole trip started out because I was going to go to Norway.
Okay.
And I wanted to do, woofing in Norway. You work on organic farms and stuff for...
Woofing?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
explain that
so
a little bit more.
so woofing stands for, like, we work on on organic farms. And it's a huge international program. You can go all over the world, and you volunteer your time at the farm for accommodation. So you essentially live there, and you just work on the farm.
Like an indentured servant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. So I was going to go to Norway and do that. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend Kate, who I was working at the restaurant with. And I'm like, dude, I kind of want to get out of here. Like, I want to do this thing. Let's go to Norway. And she's like, yeah, I want to do a bit of traveling too. Like, maybe we can go other places also and kind of just like throw Norway in somewhere in the trip. So she wanted to go to Russia because she is Russian. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of just looked at a map, and Russia was here, and we were like, all right, well, why don't we just go to Scandinavia? Finland's right there. It's so, like, Helsinki is very close to St. Petersburg. Helsinki is in Finland, yeah. And so we kind of just picked it. Like, it was a cheap flight. It was like $250 to fly to Finland. So we were just like, all right, yeah. So it was cheap, and it was close to where we wanted to start from. So we were just kind of like, yeah, let's just start there.
Is the woofing thing only in Norway, or is it?
No, it's all over the world.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worldwide opportunities.
So if I started an organic farm on Long Island,
yes, you could have slaves come
I
out
could.
for you.
Yeah, you could.
This is actually of interest to me now.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Come to the lower 48 and woof. Yeah. That's your website, woofing in the lower 48.
I'm taking my little book out to make note of this. I could get free labor. This sounds real appealing to me. What, did you actually do any of the woofing?
Well, so no. We went.
I wanted to ask how much I would have to spend on accommodations. That's what I'm getting at here.
Right. I did something similar to woofing, and it's basically the same concept. It just wasn't the website.
This is how you end up on the first 48. Because you're going to have somebody come here, they're going to get on your nerves, and you're going to fucking butcher them.
No way, I'll just send them back.
Yeah, okay.
You're getting deported. Get the fuck out of my country. Yeah. Get the fuck out of the lower 48.
So you flew into Finland. How long were you in Finland?
Only 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah, we had plans to go up into like what they call Lapland, which is northern Finland, which is where you you go reindeer sledding and like
they're big into reindeer up there.
Yeah,
please tell me you went reindeer sledding.
No, man, I wanted to.
Oh,
that's where
but we had time constraints because of my girlfriend and money constraint. Like
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Traveling,
Sounds like a lot of
traveling
excuses.
partner.
Yeah, no,
Partner.
I mean, I'm pissed we didn't get to do that, but I mean, we just stayed in Helsinki, and it was honestly like probably my least favorite city.
Okay.
Yeah,
People don't speak English there.
they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. No signs are allowed to be in English, is that correct?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Allowed to be in English?
My father said when he was there that they weren't allowed to put signs in English in Finland. It was like against their rules, and foreigners were not allowed to own businesses there either. They had a whole bunch of like very strict protectorate
Well, I believe that. Yeah.
laws regarding the in that country where they wanted to like protect their culture and their heritage.
I mean, I probably didn't see any, signs in English.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was in Finnish, but everyone spoke English.
Just
it
because
wasn't
that's like
hard
a language
to.
art. It wasn't hard to find people.
Yeah, like it wasn't hard to.
This is also 20
communicate.
years down the road, so I'm sure
Yeah.
all the young people.
Although Finnish people don't like they're funny because
All right.
they're super friendly. Like when they have a few beers in them and they're just like hanging out and drinking and having a good time. But like to start a conversation with them can be more difficult than with other people.
What do you got up there?
So it says if signs include text in Finland, the text is written in Finnish or Swedish, except stop and taxi signs, which are written in English. So yeah, no signs.
Well, yeah, think about it though. You're in Finland. Why would signs be in English?
Well, it's actually from what I was told, it's actually illegal. So if you were like a business, you couldn't have say you were a lawyer, you couldn't have a sign that said lawyer underneath the word whatever it is in Finnish. That's I don't know if it's still like that, but that's what I was told. Like
Yeah.
20 so years, but things might have changed as well. Because the first time I went to Germany when I was a kid in the 80s, nobody spoke English.
Yeah.
But when I returned back there in the early 2000s, it was like the polar opposite. Like you'd walk around and you'd look at someone, if they had gray hair, probably not.
Right.
If they were young, you could probably have some type of somewhat decent conversation and figure out where the bathroom was or whatever.
To touch upon your in Finland though, have you been to Flushing? Everything's in a different fucking language.
Oh yeah.
Like in America, New York.
Right.
I mean, you go to Flushing, it's one block is all Korean signs, one block's all Japanese, Chinese, like it's in
Absolutely.
English, and then even what's crazy. I was driving through there not too long ago, and even to the point of like McDonald's, like the signs at McDonald's would be in English, home of Big Mac or whatever, and then it would be in fucking Korean right underneath it. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, it's why not? Why would it be in English?
It's true.
Why would it be?
They don't call it Frushing for
I
no
mean,
reason.
there sure as shit were there was no English in Russia. Nothing was in English. There were no signs.
I don't think they like it very much.
No, I mean, so from Finland, we took a train from Helsinki to St. Petersburg, and when we got off of the train station, it was outside of St. Petersburg, and we kind of just walked into the trains, off of the train into the station, and had no idea where the fuck we were going. Our first stop was always the hostel, but we couldn't figure out how to get to the hostel because we needed to get on a bus, but we couldn't find where to buy bus tickets, and we didn't know where the bus stop was. And you're kind of just it's culture shock, insane culture shock probably the greatest culture shock I've ever experienced, because you're in fucking Russia, and you're kind of just lost. And I remember trying to ask this guard for help, where, bus tickets, bus, picture of a bus, anything.
I'm taking it that your traveling partner did not speak Russian.
No.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
And it was her idea
She
to
knew
go to Russia because she was
2 or
Russian.
3 words. Yeah.
Apparently not.
Did you have
us.
any kind of
was it-
translating? Did you try to have a translator app?
I mean, right before we would get to the next country, we would always Google Translate, hello, thank you, sorry, please, the basic words. But when you're looking for, and then we also didn't have internet service unless we had Wi-Fi. So I couldn't just go on Google Translate and say, where can I buy a bus ticket? I didn't have service. Right. But I was trying to communicate with this guard for like 10 minutes. And this guard, he's not like this like friendly looking dude. He looks pissed just in general.
And doesn't the Russian language just sound pissed anyway?
Oh, yeah. And apparently also if you are walking down the street and smiling, it's like shunned upon. And if you can imagine, like, me and my friend, we just got to Russia. We're like, yeah, we're in fucking Russia. And we're walking down the street, and I'm, like, have my camera and a big-ass smile on my face. And, like, everyone's kind of just like, who the fuck are these girls, And then we found out later on that, like, you're really not supposed to smile when you're walking down the street.
Sounds like a great place to visit.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it was intimidating. There was, like, always this sort of sense of, like, not totally safe. Things aren't I don't feel very safe here, but I'm just gonna go with it, But the guard wound up like flagging down this young looking kid who spoke broken English and told us we didn't even need a ticket just to get on the bus and like give the lady some money, rubles. Everything costs $1 in Russia.
Not bad.
Everything.
Lap dances?
Yeah, probably. I didn't experience.
There's probably some hot Russian
that.
strippers.
Yeah, for sure.
Russian strippers in Smithtown.
They come on a bus. Sometimes the guys that drive them there beat them once in a while.
Oh, God.
So what did you do in Russia? I mean, what was like... Did you guys have a plan for Russia, or is it just go?
We didn't have a plan for anything.
Okay.
Yeah. We just... I don't know, man. We were there during a holiday. So, like, the thing that you're supposed to do when you go to St. Petersburg is, go to Winter Palace, and all of these, like, churches and
Is Winter
museums.
Palace the castle-looking thing? It looks...
It's like an old palace that's now a museum.
Yeah.
That is the Kremlin. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what are you talking about?
He's talking about the Kremlin in Moscow.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know my Russian landmarks. Yeah. I just know that one building, that red building, that looks like something out of Disneyland. Really
looks
right.
like
a ladder.
Yeah. That's the Kremlin.
If you Google the Church of Spilled Blood, it's
that is so awesome.
Right.
Sounds like my type of church.
It's a really fucking awesome looking church. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. But
whoa.
Yeah,
it
was
pretty
nuts.
wild.
Where is this?
That was right in the heart of St. Petersburg.
Is that like the centerpiece of the city almost?
It's like one of the places that you should go to.
Because that's how it was in Reykjavik. That giant church is almost the focal point of the whole city.
Yeah.
It felt like.
For sure. Well, I mean, Reykjavik is also super small compared to... Yeah. But, everything was closed because of the holiday. So basically we just got drunk and went to jazz clubs and, like, other clubs and...
What are other clubs?
Not strip clubs.
No, that wasn't even what I was getting at.
No, just
Skenga would have been getting at that, but I was just...
I would have went to the jazz clubs. That sounded...
Yeah.
Like techno clubs or like...
No, we didn't really... Just like bars and
bars.
Like... Yeah.
Gotcha.
What are we...
We pulled up your Instagram because you mentioned that you had a picture of it on your Instagram. So
it's probably down there.
I assume that is that the Russian. That's the Russian.
That's awesome. That horse or donkey, whatever it is.
It's a horse.
The Russian Orthodox Church. I'm guessing that was, or do you know what kind of like religion?
It's probably I don't know actually.
Okay.
I don't know what that church was, but
We need the sign here.
Yeah.
This must be the place. So you you didn't get too deep into like some of the sites. You just saw it, checked it out.
Yeah, we couldn't.
You didn't get because you couldn't get information from anybody, right?
Yeah, we kind of just walked around the city and we met a bunch of great people, and we we went to the jazz club that one night and. You're in Russia and you're like, well, we should drink vodka because that's what Russians do, right?
Yeah.
And, vodka was like 50 cents for a shot. And we go in this jazz club and we're ordering vodka and these girls we met, they're like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean? We're just like doing shots of vodka, And they're drinking like wine and beer and they're like, yeah, I guess, like, we're not going to drink vodka, but you can. And we looked around us, and we're in this Russian bar thinking that everyone's going to be slamming vodka, and nobody was drinking vodka. It was just the two of us.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're used to it. It's like their export, I guess.
Or is that,
Yeah, I
like
guess.
a hillbilly thing, like slamming like cans of Bud Red?
Oh, now you're too far down.
We passed it, the picture.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh, shit.
That looks awesome.
I like your caption. Just taking a stroll on a Sunday, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in Russia.
You know what? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. If the churches here looked like that, as a child, you'd be like, yeah, let's go to church.
Let's go to Candyland.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, a
Yeah.
Candyland palace.
But I
Yeah,
think
you're right.
if that was the case, the first time you walked in there, you'd never want to go back again.
Probably.
You'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I got robbed.
Yeah,
But you know
this
what?
is bullshit.
When we start, we're eventually going to turn the Sixth Borough podcast into like a registered, organized religion.
Dude, you can't be fucking spilling those beans. What's wrong with you?
What's the matter with you?
When we do, our church is going to look like that building to
Yeah,
get people in.
But it's really going to be a bouncy house on the inside. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's going to be those are our architectural goals for the outside of the Sixth Borough podcast church.
You're letting a lot of things loose right now.
Yeah.
All
Honestly,
right.
this is news to me. So.
Yeah, well, there's a reason we didn't tell you.
Yeah, because you're not even in the inner circle.
You'll be.
Oh, shit. That's the Winter Palace.
That's beautiful.
It's so much longer than that, too. Like, it wouldn't even fit in the frame.
So I'm guessing you have no background on the Winter Palace either, right?
Yeah, I just know that you can go. I mean, you can see all kinds of shit in there. There's, like, mummies and shit. It's supposed to be one of the most incredible collections in the world.
Of mummies?
It's
Of
just a
everything.
giant
Of
museum.
everything. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Look at that
gigantic.
fucking
Wow.
thing.
So we're looking at what, a bird's eye view of it? Is that what it was?
Or partial. They might not even be able to get the whole thing into one shot. I've seen photos of this before. It's
Yeah, I mean-
tremendous.
I've never seen a photo of Russia on a beautiful day like that. That's the first time I've ever seen it like clear and beautiful. It always every other picture I see of
Dark
Russia is
and
like
morbid.
dark, cloudy, and like ominous. Was that what it was? The weather was like? No.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were there in February, so it was fucking cold, it was
why would you
snowing,
go
it was...
then?
Yeah, well, we chose essentially to go to Scandinavia in February and March.
How many days did you spend in Russia?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
All in St. Petersburg? Or?
All in St. Petersburg. We kind of fucked up when we got our visa, because you can like pay for a Russian visa for a single entry, which like to get a visa you have to get an invitation from Russia. Like you have to go through all of these steps, and if you can pay the same price to be allowed to go into Russia for a specific time period, or you can do like a multiple entry visa that's good for 3 years. So we got the wrong visa, and so we could only stay for the time that our hotel was booked, which was 3 days.
Okay.
And I mean, we were pissed because we wanted to spend more time there because of the holiday and because it was just awesome. We met like a bunch of really great people. But leaving Russia, what's up? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, because you said you've met a bunch of
Yeah.
really great people. How did you figure it out? Like, do a lot of people speak English there, or
In St. Petersburg, yeah.
Okay.
Like, in the heart of the city, like, going out at night and just meeting people. Everyone was speaking English, because they're all, like, people our age, like,
okay,
late 20s or whatever. And for the most part, they spoke English. There was this one girl who was kind of just, like, hanging around these other girls that we met, and she didn't speak any English, but she was just still hanging out and, like, smiling, and, like, we were interacting with each other just in different languages, and it was cool.
like she's like the vibe was there for everybody.
Yeah,
So,
like,
okay.
yeah, body language says a lot,
So there's like a vibrant nightlife. there,
Oh,
like-
yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Definitely.
All right. Sorry, I had to
No,
ask real quick.
yeah, of
I
course.
find that happens in a lot of places. Like you're able to communicate. Like somebody speaks English here.
Yeah.
Mostly everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ran into a situation where, like, nobody around me spoke English, maybe, like, parts of Italy, but, like, not on this trip. Everyone, yeah, I had no problems communicating with anybody, except when I was outside of St. Petersburg. That was the only problem, like, the train thing and the guard.
It seems like most countries and cultures are multilingual, aside
Yeah.
from America.
Exactly.
And China. Go to China. You won't be able to find anyone that speaks English anywhere in China.
Yeah, I heard that about Tokyo too.
Yeah. There's homogeneous cultures, and I spent 2 weeks in China, 2.5 weeks, and I was there with someone from Taipei that spoke Mandarin fluently, and we would go out at night, and we would leave our hotel room with a napkin with our hotel's logo on it and address. And we would try to find them in different languages because everyone over there speaks either Mandarin or Cantonese. But we would like show up, and we'd be, first of all, we'd be shit-faced wasted, trying to get cabs home at like 2-3 in the morning, and all like the nightclub districts or whatever would have like cabs outside. So we'd go up to the first driver, and we would try to have a conversation with him. And I was with my friend Washu. Washu would start speaking with them in Mandarin, and they'd get a couple words back and forth. He'd be like, I don't understand what this guy's saying. And I'd say, oh, what does he speak, Cantonese? No, he speaks one of the 1,000 dialects that are on mainland China. We'd go to the next cab, break out the napkin, try again. And sometimes it would be 6, 7, 8 cabs before we found someone that knew exactly where the hotel was that we were staying at, or could understand my friend Washu to get us back there. Right. And like the first night I was there when this was happening, I started like, I got like where your heart sinks. I got that feeling like, oh man, I've been trying to figure out how to get home for like 10 minutes and nobody understands anything here. And like I was about to go back in, like there's a lot of prostitutes over there. Now the prostitutes all speak perfect English. So I was like,
they know their client base. That's
that's what it is. So I was like, Washu, man. I was like, I'll go get one of the girls from inside. I'll give her $20, and she'll come out and figure out a cab for us to get home. And it didn't come down to that.
I need a happy ending. I need you to translate.
While we're here,
but if you're offering.
So, you took a train from Helsinki to Russia, and then you took a train out of Russia also?
Yeah. And that leaving Russia was a very scary experience because, like I said, we got the visa that limited our stay there. So we had to leave, I think it was like the 23rd of February. And it says it on the visa, like, this is when you're allowed to be here, and they take that very seriously. So, like, I don't even know, the night before, maybe at, like, midnight, you know, we were like, shit, you know, we have to get on a train tomorrow, maybe we should look this up, because we're kind of thinking, like, oh, trains probably just, like, leave Russia and go to Finland all the time, you know, like, whatever, we'll figure it out. That was the general, like, idea, we'll just figure it out. So we look, and there's one train that leaves St. Petersburg to go back into, actually, we were going to Estonia. So the train was leaving at 6:30 in the morning. And we're like, okay, you know, let's buy tickets so that we have tickets. We don't have to worry about it tomorrow. And we're trying to buy tickets on this website, but it's not happening. Like, we just can't purchase tickets through this website. So we go to the hostel, like the reception, and we're like, hey, you know, can you help us maybe book these tickets? They couldn't do it. It was just impossible. So
was it a language barrier on the website?
It was just like you just weren't able to purchase, like, I guess, out of like international tickets on the website. Okay. You had to get them at a station. But, you know, we're doing this 6 hours before the train leaves. Obviously, the station wasn't open. So then the next morning, we woke up at, like, I don't even think I went to sleep. At this point, I still hadn't gotten sleep from, like, the jet lag. I didn't sleep for, like, a week straight. But we had to leave at, like, 4, or we thought we were going to leave at 4, but none of the stations opened in Russia. Like, we had to take a subway to get to the train. But the subway didn't open until 5:45 in the morning. Oh, shit. Yeah. So we're like, we have our fucking 40-pound backpacks, and we're like walking to the subway station, and it's like 5:30 in the morning, and St. Petersburg everyone is fucking partying right now. We're walking through these streets, and like the bars are fucking going crazy, and people are everywhere, and we're like looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they're crazy. And then we get to the subway station, and you know, there's just, like, people hanging out outside of it, and it's, like, 5:45, the doors open. We book it to the subway that we have to get onto. And, I mean, we get on the subway, and we're sitting there, and the subway's not moving. And it's like it's really close to 6. It's like maybe 5 to 6. So I asked this dude, I'm like, hey, you know, is the subway going to leave soon? Like, we have to catch this train. And he's like, yeah, it'll leave soon. Like, I don't know, like maybe now, maybe in 10 minutes. So we're like, all right, fuck, like okay. Like, so we're sitting there, and like, I mean, we can't even look at each other because we are both in panic mode. And we know that if we don't make this train, like, we're fucked. Not only are you violating your visa, but like you could get thrown in jail. They can fine you up the fucking ass. You know, I mean, who knows what? You're in Russia. You're an American in Russia. Like, don't be smart, you know. Have your train tickets.
You might lose a thumb.
Yeah, like, who the fuck knows? So the subway starts like moving. We get out, maybe it's like a 10-minute ride. We get to the train station. We're running with our packs on, and we have to like run up this. I mean, this escalator must have been, if you Google like Russian escalators, this thing was like half a mile long. I shit you not. It was so far into the ground.
You're in St. Petersburg?
Yeah. So we're just like running up this escalator with our packs, like sweating, freaking out, run to the train station. We get to the train station, and like there's no...
The escalator of war comes up.
Dude.
Holy shit.
That. Like, you can't even see the end of that thing.
Yeah,
No,
it's
you can't.
super
It's nuts. So we're running up that. What?
Is that what it was similar to?
Yeah.
It was
St.
that.
Petersburg Metro
Yeah.
Station.
Holy
Yes.
shit.
So, and I mean, that just goes up for like forever.
It looks like a plane fuselage.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, dude. It's
my God.
it's nuts. So
But they got their pictures though. You know, were those czars probably or something?
no, actually, a
old
lot
people.
of them were like old 90s. Like Mariah Carey had a poster up there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I love 90s Mariah. Everybody does. I mean, that
She's big in
transcends,
the lower 48.
that transcends cultures.
She was hot
Yeah.
before she went crazy.
Yeah.
So we get to the train, and like the train station, and we can't find our train because there's no workers there. So no ticket booths are open.
Because they're not there yet, right?
Because they're just not there. It's too early in the morning. Like,
I've had that experience
you
myself.
should have your ticket already, I guess. So there was like some guy. We were talking to each other, like we were like chain smoking cigarettes, and some guy overheard us say Estonia. So he goes, oh, Estonia, you know, like go that way. So we're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, thank you. And we kind of just go in that direction, and we see some conductors standing outside of trains. So we try to talk to this one conductor, no English, doesn't speak English, doesn't want to pay, like doesn't want anything to do with us. So we're like, okay, we go to the next conductor, and we're like, tickets, you know, can we buy tickets? And he's like, yeah, ticket, you have ticket? Like, no, we don't have tickets. Like, purchase tickets, buy tickets. And it was this whole, like, you know, language barrier for a few minutes. And finally he writes, like, it was like 80 euro or 40 euro. He, like, writes 40 euro on a piece of paper. So we're like, okay, credit card. And he's like, no, cash. Like, nope. So we have to run back into the train station, which is, I mean, like 300 yards away, find an ATM, get cash out, run back. And at this point, the train left at 6:29. At this point, it's 6:25. And like, I'm like hyperventilating, I'm sweating, I'm on the verge of tears. And we give this guy money, and he's kind of like, he's hesitant. He's like,
well, he was hustling.
okay.
He was taking
well,
this. That was
at
his
that
money.
point, I would have paid 500 euros, like, just to get on that fucking train, you know? So we give him our money, and he takes our passports, and he hands them to this other woman who's standing on the train. And she, like, looks at our passport, and she looks at us, and she's like, you don't have visa. And I'm like, no, I have a visa. It's right here. This is my visa. And she's like, no visa to go back into Europe. And my friend Kate looks at me because I was in charge of the visas. And she's like, dude, do we need a fucking visa to go back into Europe? And I'm like, no, man, no. Like, nothing said that. Like, these are our visas. This is good for, like, re-entry. Like, come on. Give me something, you know? So she tells the lady, she's like, no, you know, we took the train from Helsinki. And which there's, like, this sort of loophole if you take the train from Finland into Russia. So the lady walks away with our visas, and I mean, we have like 3 minutes, I don't even know, and she's gone for like a few minutes, and she comes back, and she's just like, you know, in her Russian, like, get on. So we get on the train, and like, we have this like little sleeping like cabin, and we kind of just sit down, and she still has our passports, and like, we were on that train. I started hysterically crying as soon as we like got into that cabin, and then I started like nervous laughing because I still didn't know if we were okay and like if we were gonna actually be able to stay on the train. And then like the train leaves, but I really, until we crossed the border at Estonia, like we were tense. We were just, you know, it was a very, very intimidating, scary experience. And that's like, so when people are like, oh, how was Russia? Like, that's what I think about. And I'm like, Russia was fucked up. It's fucked up.
Well, I mean, yeah, it sounds like Russia just kind of does things and like wings it almost, like, so you never know, like they might just stop the train and be like, you know what, change your mind. Like,
I swear to God, that was our mentality when we were on the train. Like, who knows, like, what if, because even entering Russia, the lady who was looking at my passport, she didn't like something with my passport. Like, she didn't like the way it looked, and I think maybe she thought my picture didn't look like me or something. So I mean, they just take your passport, and it's like, you're gonna give that back to me? Because, like, I need that, you know? But at the same time, like, they can do whatever the fuck they want. I don't feel like I have any rights when I'm in Russia. So it was very nerve-wracking. And I never want to experience that again in my life. Ever.
I can imagine.
So no more Russia.
Yeah, I might chill for a bit on that.
What I found when traveling abroad in many countries where people feel marginalized, somebody that works their way up to like a government position or like a position of power almost feels obligated to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
So I've gotten that before in other countries where people like look at like my passport and they'll like shake their head and say something to the guy next to them in a different language, give the passport to them, then they come back and then everything's fine. And I get the impression that they're trying to make themselves seem more important or feel like very important around foreigners because they're such a marginalized society and like a suppressed society, like in Russia, like, oh, here we have these like, probably they look at you like rich American girls, you can afford to fly over here, and oh, this guy just asked you for 50 euros, he's going to let you on the train without even a ticket, and you guys got it with no problem. Let's make you feel a little different, or it could have been maybe they'll offer me money because I'm giving them a hard time as well. Like when I've traveled, like you could, like if you're in Mexico, man, you get stopped by the federales, they'll like take you, they'll be like, oh, well, we're going to have to see, and they might make you wait for a while in the hopes that you'll be like, listen, how much is it going to be so I can get the F out of here? Or if they're real forthright, they might just say, oh, how much cash do you have on you? Oh, no, oh, let's go to an ATM. We'll take you, jump in the truck.
Yeah.
But I've always felt that with countries like someone like a Russia, a China, a Mexico, somebody that gets themselves into that position, they almost feel obligated to give the white foreigner, or maybe not even
obligated, but just like I can do this, you know, like the rules have reversed, like so. That's exactly let's make you feel a little fucked up.
They're in a
Should I not be cursing?
No,
okay. No. You said like
talk about strippers.
I know, but you were like, get the F out of here. I'm like, shit.
Sometimes
say whatever you want.
I've been working on my swearing lately, so I'm trying to take it out. To take it out of the system.
Really good at it.
Seem a little bit more professional.
You're not fooling
anyone.
But so Russia was very stressful, essentially.
Yeah.
How were the people there? You said you met some people and you guys had made some common ground. Even if it wasn't necessarily speaking back and forth to each other, they seemed very open to Americans. Did you encounter any negativity towards you because of the fact that you were American?
Well, like the people that I met in St. Petersburg, like out if we were at a bar or something, you know, maybe not everyone wanted to talk to us, but we definitely made friends with some people. We did find though that when we went out to eat, like and I don't know again if this is just like the difference in like the service industry, but this one specific server that we had, like we were just, you know, hanging out. We ordered some food. We were doing some shots, but this guy just, it just felt like he didn't like us because we were, those American tourists that go to Russia and, drink vodka and, we're kind of just like,
were you
hey,
at least
what should
drinking?
we
Were you
get?
at least drinking Stolichnaya, or what were you drinking? Were you like, did you go over there and be like, we want Absolute, and they were like,
no,
fucking
I
American
don't even know
die.
if they have Absolute. I feel like it's only Stoli, but they made these like herbal liqueur shots that were really popular everywhere. So and then eventually we just stopped drinking vodka because no one else was.
So you got classy and had some wine.
Yeah, scotch, but
Nice.
yeah.
All right, so you cross over, you get into Estonia.
Estonia,
Relief.
yeah. Estonia, even the guards, even the passport control on the train, they were like, hey, how are you? And we're like, oh my God, we're good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, like, holy shit, no one's accessed that in 4 days, and it's been very stressful. But, Estonia was different, The people still are kind of, like, hard on the outside, like, they're not, like, smiling and, like, friendly and really wanting to like interact with you, but we actually couch surfed in Estonia, and we stayed with this really weird dude.
What's his name? Lincoln Chamovsky?
His name is, who the fuck is that?
No, nobody
No.
knows that. Can
No.
anybody here know that? No. Come on,
He's
Encino Man.
Yeah, no.
No, it's the only thing I know fucking Estonia from.
Yeah.
No, he's in the juice.
Yeah. Did you ever see Encino Man?
No.
Oh, God damn it. How old were you?
28.
You're old enough.
I know. I don't know.
It wasn't good.
Yeah,
Bullshit. How dare you?
I've seen Encino Man. I don't remember that at all.
Whatever.
Shut up.
Anyway, back to your story.
So did you find this guy on like crowdsurfer.com?
Couch surfing.
Couchsurfer?
Yeah, there's an app for it, and our plan was to couch surf.
So he was like real sketchy. Tell us about this real sketchy situation, because I've always wondered the types of people that do this.
He wasn't.
Not
he
hosts
wasn't
like you two.
sketchy.
Now you're questionable as well.
Right. No, I mean,
And your friend. I want her Instagram too.
Where's your friend? She needs to be the next guest.
No, a lot of people. It's a great way to travel on a budget, and also like to get out of the touristy aspect of traveling. You stay with locals, you stay with people who live in the city that you're visiting, and you get a different perspective of the city. So we kind of also though just like found this guy sort of in desperation. Like no one was really answering us in couch surfing.
He had no feedback, or
He had like 8 reviews maybe, 8 references, which isn't like really a lot. His name is Alo. His apartment smelled really bad, like rotting produce. And I woke up.
He was a terrible woofer.
I woke up one morning because my alarm was going off, and like we didn't have a private room. We were sleeping on his couch, and I woke up and he was like, kind of, just like sitting here like this, sort of like watching us.
Oh, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. And as soon as I woke up, I like looked over and I just saw him like staring at me. Super creepy.
Did he speak English?
He did. He spoke English, but
He's probably a cannibal.
that could have been the smell.
Yeah, you're lucky
Yeah.
you didn't get fucking
Yeah,
filleted.
you're lucky somebody came by the night before and his like refrigerator was full.
That's why you
I have
don't
no
go
storage for
across
these
the world
girls.
and stay on someone's couch.
His 8 reviews were the only
Sounds
people
so
that made it
scary.
out.
But I mean, the 8 reviews were like, oh, this guy is so awesome and
They were all by
friendly.
him.
And,
I was gonna
yeah,
say
I
he
know.
killed him and fucking review.
Yeah, then he put the review up on their phone. Oh, if you're ever like stuck in another country, I'll wire you money so you don't have to stay with Alo the cannibal again. I'll do it as like a good Samaritan.
Well, yeah, I think it was after Estonia, we stayed in hostels the rest of the time.
That sounds
Yeah.
much safer.
Yeah. Well, dude, have you ever stayed in a hostel?
No, I haven't, because I saw that movie.
No, man, come on.
Why, hostels get sketchy too?
No, hostels are great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hostels are awesome. It's my favorite way of like, that's where I want to stay
traveling?
when I travel, yeah. I would like to go to the city and stay in a hostel just for a night, just to be like, what are you doing here? You meet a lot of people. And like when you stay in hostels, you meet people who are kind of doing the same thing that you are. They're not like, taking the tour bus or, doing they're kind of just traveling and staying at hostels and figuring it out.
That's the fight that I have with my wife every time we travel. She likes to do like the Disneyland tour of wherever we're going, like the real touristy stuff. And I'm sort of like the guy that's like, yeah, let's just find some guy in this repressed country and hire him to drive us everywhere in his car. And she's just like, no way, no way. Like, we'll go to islands and I find like the first Rastafarian with like a joint in his ear. And I'm just like,
you're our guy.
Yeah.
Quincy, how much money do you make in a normal day? I'll triple it. Where's the boat? Let's go.
Quincy.
That's a real person. Shout out to Quincy, St. Lucia. But I feel like that is a better way to travel, or else you end up only seeing like I don't want to call them tourist traps, but in many cities they are.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, come to this museum, and you go to
And
this
think about it.
museum, and it's like some museum that's like nothing for like the area, but something general that you could have seen anywhere. Or you go to a museum that is something real specific to the area, like this is the Wagon Wheel Museum, and they have thousands of wagon wheels, and you're like, well, I'm at the Wagon Wheel
You're
Museum.
like, that's fucking awesome. I'm really happy to see all these wheels.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like, it's, think about like, you could stay in a hotel by yourself or like with whoever you're traveling with, and like you're closed off. Like it's just you and that person in a room, and then you're going to go and, you know, how are you going to find out what to do? You're going to go to reception and get like the pamphlet, or you're going to Google, you know, top things to do in the city. But if you're staying at a hostel and you're in a room with 12 other people, and then you go into the lounge and there's 24 other different people, and it's like, what's up? Where are you from? Why are you here? What did you do today? And they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, we met this local who told us about this place that no one knows about. And then it kind of just like, that's how you, like, you know, that's where you can figure it out, you know, quote unquote, like
you talk
what you're
to somebody
doing.
that's like, oh yeah, we did that's something that you should definitely do, or
like this isn't something that everyone knows about, but you know, this is what we did today. Like, oh, this is what we did, you know.
I feel like because the theme with the podcast lately has become travel, we should fucking book a flight somewhere and do a podcast in a hostel.
Absolutely. That would be awesome.
One of our past guests, Nick Sandolina, who's actually driving cross country right now on motorcycles, he's like a big proponent of staying at hostels, and he's been to, I want to say, every country in Europe. And he goes, he'll just like book a trip to Europe, fly into some country, and then essentially take the trains, hitchhike, or figure out his way how to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then he just stays at hostels, and he has all types of great stories about traveling. And one hostel he showed up at, it was a giant circus tent with a bunch of like bunk beds.
See, like that's fucking sick.
And he said each bunk bed had like a trunk at the end with like a padlock on it, and like your room key was like the key to your trunk where you could lock your stuff up.
Yeah.
And there was somebody always there to make sure that like nobody broke into the trunks, because it was only one room. It was a giant circus tent.
Yeah.
And he said that's just what it was at night. And he said that the best thing was like know there were like 4 different things to do in each city or whatever. And you'd speak to other people, and they'd be like, "Oh, do these 3 things. Leave that last one. It's a waste of time."
Exactly.
It's like it's a tourist trap.
You get feedback from these people. Yeah.
Whereas at a hotel, they're going to be like, "Yeah, go there," because they're just looking to bring money and steer money into the general area.
Right.
Guas had similar, or one of our past guys who did the cross country. He had similar feedback about staying in the parks. He would camp out in these national parks and run into other people, and they were doing the similar trips.
Right.
And he was catching people that were crisscrossing. Like he was taking the northern route over the southern route, and they were coming from the southern route to the northern route, and they were intersecting. And he'd tell them like, "All right, I just came from where you're headed. Check this place out." And they tell him like, "Oh, I just came from where you're headed.
Yeah.
Check this out."
Yeah.
And it was
that's what it's all about. Yeah.
It seems to be like it's
one of the best parts.
For lack of a better word, like the unwritten rule of travel, I guess. And it seems to be that everybody's, because you find people with that common ground, they're trying to do the same thing you're doing. They're trying to, like you said, figure it out, or get the best experience. So it's like, you got to bounce shit off of each other and figure it out.
Exactly.
So maybe that's a good idea for an app, a travel app where you bump phones.
Where have you been?
Where you're going, and you get that shit on your phone. Bang! It's like an STD for traveling, but it's a safe one on your phone.
You might as well tell you if your cousins.
We can integrate that right in.
Might as well. If you're bumping phones.
Travel bumper. Bumper travel. Just spitball.
Oh yeah,
Just throw it out.
compatible if your cousins.
Hostile bumper. Oh, that sounds sexual.
Yeah, that's a.
Maybe that's the way to go too. Fuck it.
Yeah, sex sells.
That's true. All right, so Estonia. What happened in Estonia? Any highlights or what?
Estonia is just I really loved that city because it's very medieval. It's very, very old city. All of the streets are cobblestone. Like all of the buildings are just ancient, you know. But I mean, as far as like crazy experiences, nothing really.
Where is Estonia in terms? Like, I know
it's directly south of Finland.
Okay.
Like, it's separated by a little inlet of water, but it borders Russia and like Latvia or Lithuania.
Yeah. That's what I think. So it's like more. Is that technically the Balkan Peninsula? Is that?
I think it's further north, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's the Baltic Sea is right there. Yeah.
Yeah, Lithuania. Yeah, that's the Balkan Peninsula, I believe, right? I think it is.
No, the Balkans are much more south.
Oh yeah, that's like Bulgaria and everything. No, I gotta brush up on my
Geography.
Eastern European geography.
Yeah.
You fail.
Hell, dude, whatever.
I would like to go back to Estonia and go through the country because I heard it's very beautiful.
So where'd you go from there?
From there, I took a ferry back into Finland, and then we took a train from Helsinki, like west into Turku, and
What the fuck is Turku?
Turku is Turku is like not far from Helsinki. If you maybe zoom out.
Turku is a city in Finland?
See it on the very bottom of the screen? To the
right
left?
here, to the left, yeah.
Yeah. So we were going to take a ferry from there to Stockholm. And we were on the train from Helsinki to Turku. And I had like met some people in Finland, in Helsinki, and I was messaging this one guy that I met. And he's like, hey, did you hear that your cruise ship that you're supposed to get on is having mechanical problems, and it's going to be docked for 7 days? And I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's because we're on this train to Turku, and that's the way we already paid for these tickets. That's how we're getting to Stockholm. And so I look on the news, and it's like, yeah, your cruise ship is just out of commission.
I thought that was just like a great pickup line.
Me too. I thought you fucking with me.
Like, hey, I'm back to Helsinki.
Ship, like,
It was really that.
don't work
Right,
that in.
yeah.
Just,
It was really aloe trying to get you to like come back.
he ran through the rest of his meat in his freezer, so he was like, just come on back.
Yeah. No, actually, the cruise ship was shot. So we got there, and we had to we went to the offices, and they kind of were like, yeah, I don't really know what to tell you. But then I was super nice to them, and we wound up actually sleeping on the cruise ship that night, but it was just docked in the harbor. And
Probably pretty awesome.
it was really fucking cool because there was us and 20 other people on the cruise ship. So it was to ourselves.
That's
It was
cool.
awesome. And, there was one bar open, and
Did this guy sneak his
DJ
way into
was
the cruise
still-
ship with you too?
No, he was, he was back in
What a
Helsinki.
loser.
Yeah. So then the next day we got another ship, and we went to Stockholm. And we were in Stockholm for 3 days. Stockholm is very expensive. Very, very expensive city, but it's very beautiful. And again, though, the people in Finland were a little hard to talk to. In Estonia, they're a little hard to talk to. In Sweden, it's not here where you go out to a bar and everyone's hanging out at the bar and, you're bullshitting. You bump into someone next to you oh, sorry, man. You start talking or whatever it is. You meet people on the bathroom line. It's not like that there.
Stoic, right?
Well,
Yeah.
There's a different culture there that sort of transcends a little bit into Germany, and it comes down to efficiency. And if there's no reason for something to be said, then nothing should be said. And I have family members from different parts of Europe, and sometimes, like, you'll be thinking you're gonna have like a normal back and forth, like warm, normal conversation, but if it's not pertaining to business, or there's nothing, you're not in that like social setting, like you said, like, oh, after you have a couple of drinks, things loosen up a little bit. It's really just like cut and dry. What do we have to say to each other in order to get by?
Right.
Not trying to waste that energy. I don't know what the reason is.
Well,
it has to be something with efficiency. I don't know.
It just seemed like they just weren't interested. Like, whatever bar we went to, people were just in their own social groups. So there was no reason for them to go out of that and like talk to us. You know, we were just sitting at the because there's tables. Everyone's sitting at tables. They're not standing at the bar. So we're just sitting at a table, kind of just like, all right, well, we're spending like $12 on this shitty beer to like sit at this table and just talk to each other. We might as well just go back to the hostel and hang out with people that are there that want to talk to us and, you know, drink some wine or whatever. So we really didn't meet anyone in Sweden outside of the hostel. It was very difficult. And then from there, my friend went to Munich to see her father, who was in Munich at the time. Oh, no, we went to Copenhagen first. Sorry. We went to Copenhagen. Yeah. From Stockholm. We took a train.
A lot of trains,
yeah.
They got a good rail system over there. It's not like America.
So any highlights from Copenhagen?
Copenhagen's awesome. Freetown Christiania. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope. I'm from the lower 48. I don't know shit.
Right. It's basically like a lawless
like
community.
A
Self-governed community right in the heart of Copenhagen.
I heard, I've actually saw a special on, what's the guy's name? Anthony Bourdain.
Oh God, I love him.
He did a special in Denmark. There's, I guess, the best restaurant in the world is there.
Is in Freetown Christiania?
No, but it's near
in
there.
Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And they walk through that Freetown, and there are people, they're smoking marijuana in the streets.
You can buy pot.
Very hippie-ish.
Yeah.
Super hippie-ish.
Yeah. Think like if Amsterdam was a lot cooler. Mm-hmm. And it's like very small. It's just a series of a few streets, but there's a street called Pusher Street, and it's basically like all of these little booths set up where you buy pot and you buy weed, you know, like pre-rolled joints.
Very aptly named.
What?
Very aptly named.
Pusher Street, right? Yeah, and all of these booths they have like camo nets around them, so you can't see the people who are inside, like selling you drugs.
Gotcha.
But so yeah, like that's what you do there. You go there, you buy pot, you go to like these little outdoor like patio areas, and you just sit at these like benches and you just roll up a joint, and everyone else is doing the same thing. And we went there and we bought pot, and I like walked up to this booth and it was super sketchy. Like it's totally fucking sketchy.
Who was selling the pot?
It's just people.
Just normal people.
Yeah, I mean it's not legal.
And yeah, I've heard that
it's very illegal.
There's bikers in Europe, in that part of Europe, and I've heard that bikers control most of like the illicit
like
narcotics.
motorcycle.
Like motorcycle gangs. But that's why I was asking.
If you're the only one who's involved in the criminal element and how it gets done. Everybody else is just looking to score.
I saw a special on that too. Sorry if I watch the Travel Channel once in a while.
Yeah, but
so you bought some marijuana in a little cabinet.
Yeah, like a little
like a voter's booth almost.
Just like a little like booth. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. But you can't see anyone, and you know, like that's inside. So I was like with my friend, and I'm like, all right, should I like do it? Like, is it cool? Is it gonna be okay? And she's like, yeah, man, just go. So I like walk up to the booth, and I'm like creeping up, and I'm just like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, man, how are you? Like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, okay, you're cool. Like, you're not this super pissed, like, guy. Like, what do you want, you know? But he's like, you know, where are you from? Like, you know, this is really good weed. And, like, you know, maybe you should, like, have that if you want to, like, this kind of high.
So there were choices.
Yeah, there was a few different choices. And I was like, I don't know, man. Just give me, like, whatever you think is good. And so then, like, we go and, like, you know, get the fuck out of there because it's very sketchy. and then we're like smoking, and you're not allowed to take pictures in there. And it's very, like, because it is illegal. And they actually, if you Google this, like, they actually got raided heavily a week or two ago. And it's insane. Like, the cops, I don't know. They don't obviously like that, like, this little community is operating.
I always wonder why they don't kick them out, but maybe it's a tourist thing, or...
No, I mean, they've tried. Like,
What, the hippies just come back?
They fight back. They fight back. Like, they're definitely fighting for...
And European police are pretty wimpy. Like, I'll be the first to say...
I mean...
They're not... They don't kick the shit out of you like American police do.
No, they do.
Do they?
If you Google a video, you'll see...
Oh, really?
Yeah, my friend in Iceland... like, it must have been a week, I don't know, 2 weeks ago maybe, because, you know, he is from Denmark, and he's like, dude, the place just got raided. Because I asked him, I'm like, how come this is allowed? Like, why aren't the cops shutting this down? And he's like, well, they try, you know.
But in America, you would have got Freddie Grade, where, like, they put you in the back of, like, a police car, and then you show up dead at the police station.
Yeah.
Oh, we're loading the article now about the Denmark 83 jailed in Denmark's biggest ever drug bust.
When is this from?
A couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, March.
Yeah.
This is from March of last year, though. So.
I mean, there's like.
See if you can find video of this. Well, what is the name of the town called?
It's called Christiania, yeah.
Christiania.
This is it right here.
Yeah,
see if you could type that into YouTube and pull
type
up
that into
video.
YouTube and do, Christiania raid.
Video it. I want to see like a video search. I want to see some police brutality, Europe style.
European lives matter.
First 48, Freetown Christiania.
What is the search that you're looking at? I know you have Christiania up there.
Yeah, I'm looking for a couple of different things. I mean, this is a inside Pusher Street.
I just love the name Pusher Street. Well, how perfectly
Anthony Bourdain has an issue here. Has an episode that's filmed entirely here. I think the name of the restaurant is Nome. And it's the best restaurant in the world. Like, it's been voted, I think, 2 or 3 times in the last 7 years as best restaurant in the world, hands down. And he came to speak with the chef and the owner, and while they were there, they walked through Christiania, and it was almost like going back in time, like to the 60s, like flower power, and like a hippie Woodstockish type vibe, except with European accents.
Right. But now, so she was saying that it's like anarchist almost, but it's still, they get raided?
It's not. It's only anarchist because the government decides not to go in and kick everybody out.
But then occasionally raided.
And I guess so. I guess maybe, who knows, at some point, maybe the people, maybe they were overstepping their bounds and they stopped selling pot and they were pushing some heavy stuff. I don't really know.
Right when she first brought it up, I was like, it's lawless. I'm like, oh, so we do some heroin, we're going to stab some people. Like, that's what I was thinking. And then it's just like,
I think it's
some weed.
I think it's lawless for over there.
Yeah.
Not like Slab City lawless, which is like a different type of lawless.
The fuck is Slab City?
When we have Chris Cohen, the Soul Adventure, on, he'll tell you about Slab City.
Okay. All right.
It's a lawless area of the United States in the middle of the desert.
June 2nd. Soul Adventure, Slab City. Holla! Alright, so wait. I had to pee when you started getting into a little bit of the Freetown Christiania thing. So I caught the beginning of it, but do you know what, like, the whole background is? Like, so it's like they can do whatever they want there, but they get raided? What's the story?
It's not that they can, like, that they're allowed to do whatever they want. I don't know, like, all of the history behind it, but it's been in effect for, I think, probably, like, since the 70s or something like that. And sort of was just, I don't want to say commune, but, a place where people gathered, and as we're Googling it, and it says a commune, yeah.
And then an autonomous commune, completely independent of the Danish government.
Right.
Okay, so you do know what you're talking about, you fucking liar.
I guess. I mean, yeah, a little. Yeah, and then I don't know. Like it says, like it's an art community and all that stuff, and and then they smoke pot. I mean, like I walked in and you said something about heroin.
I thought it would be worse when you said lawless.
Right. I think I
thought the worst. I thought heroin. I thought stabbing.
No,
I think
it's like the people there govern it. Like the people who live there want the place to last and to like be okay, to like be safe and some aspect. You know what I mean? Like they don't want people just like shooting up drugs.
There's a big difference between American lawlessness and European lawlessness.
Does that place need school teachers?
You're not a teacher, though.
No.
You could pretend, though.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's still like operating, but I do know that it's been raided several times, but the people who live there fight for it and they fight back, and it became a point where the cops like almost didn't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. So like if these people kind of just like stay, don't cause too much of a problem and can kind of be like ignored, then they will kind of ignore them. But then if they get some kind of tip or they feel
that they're overstepping their bounds,
right? Then they'll go in there and they'll
There's probably some
checks
like
and balance.
some like ebb and flow to it. Like things are going smoothly, and then one of the hippies is like pushing the boundaries a little bit, goes a little bit overboard, and then the local authorities are like, "Oh, we can't let them slip because next thing you know, we give them an inch, they're going to take a foot." And they go in and raid. Yeah. Then it goes back a little bit.
I know they have like runners, like people. They have people who like watch for like cop activity, and then they have people that will like take all the shit and like leave
and run away.
That were to happen.
Like in a prohibition day type thing. Like, they didn't do the right knock, and then like somebody hits a switch, and the whole shelf and all the liquor gets smashed on the floor and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it's a crazy place. It was definitely being there was not like any experience. Like it was. I've been to Amsterdam before, and it's nothing compared to that because you feel safe in Amsterdam and it's legal, but it's not legal.
Feel safe there?
Well, there was. It's not again like it was just
not like Russia, but
not like Russia. The thing was, I had my camera with me, and. You're not supposed to take pictures in there. And my camera was just on my back, and I had my lens cap on. But I was sitting with my friend smoking a joint, and, we're at this table, and there's, like, these other dudes sitting next to us. And this guy kind of was just, like, sitting next to me. I'm facing this way. He's turned the other way, like, talking to his friends at the table behind us.
Side by side kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my camera's on my back, and I'm just talking to my friend, like, minding my business. And something happened. People were laughing, and I, like, turned my head, and, like, there was a dog or something, and the dog was doing something funny. And I'm just like, laughing at the dog. And then the guy just kind of looks at me, and he's like, nice camera. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, like, thanks, I'm like, it's nothing really. Because it was a weird, like, nice camera. He wasn't like, hey, nice camera.
Passive-aggressive.
Yeah, it was definitely very passive-aggressive. So he, like, gave me a really weird vibe. And my friend's looking at me like, that was kind of weird. That wasn't cool. So I kind of look at her, and I'm like, let's get out of here. So we leave, and we, like, leave Christiania all together. And we're walking to the metro station, and, like, 20 minutes probably goes by, and we're in the metro station, and we have to buy a ticket to get back to where we're going, and some guy bumps into me behind me on the ticket line, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, and it's the guy, and she's like, dude, stop. She's like, don't even talk to him. Like, that's the guy, and I'm like, oh fuck, like he followed us.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
That's real creepy.
Yeah, so...
What's his name? Aloe too? Yeah.
So many aloes.
Son of a bitch.
So I get immediately, like, I'm super defense mode. And, like, now I feel like something, like, something is not okay, you know? Like, it was not coincidence. Like, there's no fucking way. Because we were so far away, so much time had passed. Like, we're in a busy metro station, and he just fucking bumped right into me.
And he was letting you know.
And he was letting me know,
he was letting you know, like, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah. So I kind of just, like, stepped back and, like, just kept stepping back. And then, like, I just kept my eye on him the whole time, and, like, we walked to the other ticket station, like, around sort of just, whatever, away from where we were, and he was, like, lingering, and I'm like, Kate, like, let's get the fuck out of here, like, I don't feel safe here, and she's kind of like, all right, well, like, let's see where he goes, and he wound up kind of sticking around for a few minutes, but then he got on, like, an elevator that went up to wherever the fuck it went, I don't know. And as soon as he did that, we, like, got our tickets and just, like, went on the train. But it was definitely not cool.
Now, did you know prior to this that the camera was frowned upon? And you just kind of didn't realize it? Or you found out afterwards, like, oh, shit, this is probably why this guy was, like...
Yeah, well, my friend, kid I was talking about before, he's from Denmark. He told me before I went to Copenhagen, like, you have to go to this place, but... they don't like pictures, and, like, if they see you taking a picture, they'll smash your camera. And I'm like, come on, because I would Google it and I see pictures, you know, and I see, like, all of this art on these, like, you know, buildings and stuff. So I'm like, all right. And, you know, we were just walking around Copenhagen that day, and, you know, I always had my camera, and it was sort of just like, oh, let's go, like, we're right by it, let's just go here today. So I just had it on me, and, like, I wasn't planning on ever using it or taking it out. And I did feel like I was getting, like, looks while I was there. So, I mean, it was my bad. You know, it was stupidity on my part. Like, I shouldn't.
After Russia, you're like, fuck it, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
She's hardened.
Yeah. Bitch, I made it to Russia.
I did have a little bit of that. Like, I escaped from Russia. But no, it was my, you know, it was stupid, and I should have been smarter about it.
I wonder if this guy was like the guy there, like, you know what I mean? You said they had, like, runners and stuff like that. I wonder if he was an important kind of guy.
It's possible.
He might have been the guy that was supposed to follow you to make sure that you, like, go somewhere and not back to the police station.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Sure. That's totally probable.
And he gave you that bump so that you tell all of your friends wherever you were going.
Right.
When you get on the Six Borough podcast, make sure you fucking tell all those little 48ers.
You know, when they come to Christiania, do not bring your camera.
Yeah.
Eric Ott's going to show up there with that shit around his neck. Like, what? Bitch?
Fuck you all.
Show me who the guy is, because I want to get in. I'm going to strong arm all you motherfuckers.
How do I become the guy that gets the people the stuff in the booth?
Yeah.
Who's bringing it in? Because I'll take that guy out. Copenhagen, you're not hard. I'm from New York.
I'm going to set up a bunch of drug woofers.
And have them work on my farm.
That's great.
We're going to grow poppy plants. And...
Oh, man. And then Skang is going to start following girls to the metro station and bumping into them.
Yeah, that's what Skang will be like, I'll follow the girls.
You can't give them money, though.
That's right. So nice camera.
Nice camera.
I remember. I remember in the special I saw about Copenhagen. They said that the people of Copenhagen were the happiest people on the planet when everyone was given, like, a survey. Copenhagen came back, like, the highest of, like, the people of the city.
I think, like, Iceland is number 2 on that list.
Oh yeah,
this wasn't
countries. This was just per city.
Copenhagen.
Yeah, per city.
Well, Denmark and I think, like, Sweden or Switzerland. Like, for some reason in that area, like
countries.
I think that comes down to, like, the homogeneousness of, like, the population, the education level, the jobs.
Yeah.
I mean...
free healthcare, free education.
There's not a lot of outside DNA infiltrating, apparently.
Yeah. Well, the people in Copenhagen are fucking beautiful. I have never been around more beautiful people. Like, it got to a point where I was like... fucking stop. Stop. Like, I mean, I'm not even shitting you. Like, you, anywhere you go, every single person that passed you, you're just like, what the fuck? You're so beautiful.
So, like, if you're a foreigner there, they're like looking at us like, look at that group of trolls over there.
So,
probably.
in the lower 48,
make sure we don't breed with any of them by accident.
so scale this for us, because in the lower 48, Skanga's hair is like a 10. Over in Copenhagen,
It's like messy right now too. I didn't.
It's good hair.
what does he drop to in Copenhagen?
I
like a
mean, they
7? have
this like long, like luscious.
He did just get a haircut. To be
Blonde.
honest.
I did cut it off Saturday.
Why?
That's what I said.
You like gave me a talking to.
I was actually like pissed.
A
'cause-
talking
It's getting
to.
annoying.
Yo,
It's getting annoying.
How long is it?
It was like if I slicked it back, it was like probably.
Dude, that's
here.
it's in right now.
That's what I
But yeah,
said.
but no, like it got to the point where it was getting like in my face when I was doing stuff and messing, you know, like when I had my hard hat on or a hot hat on, like it would come out the sides and look like really dumb.
Yeah, well,
And,
you
like,
have to get past that like weird length.
Yeah,
Why
but
don't you
like
just wear
I
a do-rag till it got long enough?
I couldn't like tied it up like it's the man bun, but all these damn
There's no
hipsters-
such thing as a
Yeah.
man bun because you're not a man if you have a bun.
Oh man, they love that shit. They all have a fucking bun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where in Copenhagen?
Copenhagen,
yeah,
yeah.
where they're all beautiful.
You should've
Fuck
got-
you. That'd be beautiful. That'd be cool.
You should have got a scrunchie.
yeah. What if I did a man bun with a scrunchie, not a hair tie?
That negates
Like a
I'm
big
sorry.
scrunchie.
I didn't know you needed a scrunchie to put your hair when you're about to blow a guy. Sorry, I had no idea. If that's your thing, go
Have you
ahead.
seen blown a guy? I've never blown a guy.
You didn't have a scrunchie in your hair yet.
I can't think of a time I maybe have had a scrunchie in at some point. But yeah, with the group of friends I have, I'm not able to tie up my hair.
Don't blame it on us.
So
I tied it up a couple times for
If
function.
you had big enough balls, you wouldn't care what we thought.
Well,
Well,
I would only tie it up for like if like I was cleaning the bathroom, I tied it up so I didn't get my hair in any cleaning products and ruin it. And if I were to,
You're not helping the fucking bullshit of having your hair.
if I were to chainsaw for safety, I would put it up.
But is that a gay thing, chainsaw?
No,
like when chicks
an actual
scissor?
chainsaw.
Dude, chainsaw.
Like an actual chainsaw. So it was for safety.
I've never heard of anyone that uses a chainsaw referred to as chainsawing. Like, oh, I'm going chainsawing today.
That's because no one has.
But I use a chainsaw once in a while, and a lot of like guys, like my old man, I've been around chainsaws and I've used them my entire life, and it's always been like, oh, I gotta go cut down the tree. What are you gonna use? Oh, I'm gonna use my chainsaw. And, like, I've never heard it as like a verb, like a running.
Yeah,
I'm going running.
chainsawing.
I'm going chainsawing on Saturday. Dave, you remember I got a new Husqvarna. You should give it a whirl.
Husqvarna, that sounds like a Scandinavian.
It is, and it's a chainsaw brand.
Son of a
they make
bitch.
really good chainsaws, pretty good motorcycles.
efficient chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
Maybe that might have to be your new hashtag. We're going to have to go from wrecking ball to chainsaw.
Yeah, this is the kind of shit I would deal with, and this isn't even bad.
You know you have a new hashtag now, right? It's transition from wrecking ball to chainsaw.
Chainsawing.
Nah, I like Wrecking Ball way better. I have a picture.
We'll put a chainsaw in that guy's free hand.
Oh man, that'd be
Oh
awesome.
man,
And you
I'm
gotta
not gonna tell you when I do it, but it might go up there.
If you do it well enough, we got to have Steve tattooed on you.
So Skenga
okay.
we have a dry erase board here with our notes and like things to do on it. And one day we came here and Skenga had drawn a picture of himself with his beard and his great hair sitting on a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
His
that's when I
tattoo
had the
also.
longer hair. That's
Don't
when I
forget
had
his
the longer
tattoo.
hair.
But you're gonna have to alter that hair because I'm not gonna sit here and stare at that long haired Skenga anymore. When I know the truth, you're just a short haired dude like the rest of us.
That came.
I still have the longest hair out of all of us.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
true. That's not hard though.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're sitting with three balding guys,
Well, I'm not balding.
a gray-haired guy
Don't
and two
fucking put me
balding
in that.
guys. Receding, we'll call it.
He's
My
less
hair is
than your
not
summer
receding
weight.
at all. My hair is
He's
fucking.
less than
My
He's
hair is
less than
still
your summer
strong.
weight.
Well,
You're saying,
But that
I
wrecking
think
ball-
you're projecting, and this is really what you want.
projecting. Yeah, see, I don't own any white clothes. So,
But if you were that skinny, you could pull off the white clothes.
The drawing Skanga
I
made.
just don't want to buy a new wardrobe, so I got to get to where my clothes look good on me.
That drawing also came after we had Tommy D on one night. So Skanga comes
One of
home.
the most epic stories ever.
He comes home hammered.
Oh, this is a Google Translate story. You had a Google Translate story.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the same.
He comes home. We're in the middle of the podcast. He comes in pissed drunk. And essentially,
drunk that night.
You were drunk.
I was drunk the night before.
And hijacks the podcast really in the greatest of ways. And he was, at the end of it, he's like, I came in like a wrecking ball. And that's how it all started.
That's
The next morning, we woke up and he drew that. And it's been a running thing since.
I drew that the
next day.
Took off the next day.
So it took you a
That was
whole
when I
day?
cleaned- that
It took
day-
you a whole day to get that
That
done?
day I cleaned the bathroom and put my hair up, and then I drew the wrecking
I
ball.
like that.
That
That
was
guy,
all
the
the
guy
same
on the
day.
wrecking ball looks like Eric Bana, though, and definitely not you. Definitely not you.
Eric Bana didn't have badass tattoos on himself.
I like how you drew a little package on there, too. It looks like, yeah, it looks
I'm just
like you were
noticing
real
that.
generous with yourself.
That was just a happy accident. Yeah.
I'm just noticing that now. So a well-hung Eric Bana with a tattooed arm is riding a wrecking ball on our dry erase board.
We have to put this up on the Instagram now. That's got to go away.
Absolutely.
That's not up yet.
Yeah.
I'll put it up. I'll put it up.
Bullshit, that's not up yet.
All right, so we got off track here because of how beautiful Copenhagen is, and we digressed
Right.
into Skanga.
So back to Copenhagen. Where was the next stop on your trip?
So
Well, hold
actually
on. Did you leave with lower self-esteem because of how beautiful everybody was?
I definitely struggled. I was struggling a little bit. It was tough. I was gonna say though, we couch surfed in Copenhagen.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and that was cool.
Who was
We
your
had this
there
like
as well?
he was this British dude, and he like fell in love with my friend that we were traveling with. And
Because he was ugly.
no, he was good looking. I mean, he wasn't from Copenhagen,
It
but
wasn't Copenhagen.
he
but
was
like-
But he was like America good looking?
he was British
lower.
good looking.
Oh, so that's like not even good looking.
so he was like a 5 in America.
Yeah, 4. He had
Yeah.
some crooked, like,
I really
fucked
hope
up.
he doesn't listen to
He had a
this
brown
somehow.
tooth or two, or...
No, but he was cool, and we had, he like showed us around, so that was we had one good couch surfing experience, but from there, now she was going to Munich to see her dad. Her dad is really into BMWs, and he like has the oldest BMW museum like in the world.
Really?
Yeah, or like the oldest collection. And it's right in Huntington too, in his house, like in their garage in his house. It's very impressive. And I'm not like super into.
What's it called?
It's like named after him, I think. Pete Nettesheim. If you Google it, I'm sure it'll come up. But so he was really into this like BMW stuff. So he was going to Munich for that. So she was meeting him. Nettesheim. Yeah.
Yeah, comes up.
Yeah.
Peter Nettesheim Museum. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is your friend's father. He owns
Yeah.
a BMW
Or
collection.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm sure people borrow parts of his collection. He loans them out.
I mean,
all
people
the
come
time.
from Germany to see it
Just
and
to see
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
it's
cool.
really impressive.
I see some of the older motorcycles there.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I know that some of the motorcycles fetch, I want to say, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or like especially like the really old ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's got. Yeah, like it's
It
in
looks
there.
like it's mostly motorcycles.
Yeah, so he has a motorcycle collection, antique BMW motorcycle collector.
Yeah. He's a cool dude too. Very cool guy. Yeah, so she flew to Munich and I was in Copenhagen, like didn't have a plan for the first time since we got there, and I'm like, well, what should I do? I was gonna stay in Copenhagen, but we were there for like 5 days and it was like enough. So I booked a flight to Berlin, and I was like, well, I'll just fucking go to Berlin. Why not? It was cheap.
So you soloed it to Berlin, though?
What?
You soloed it to Berlin?
Yeah, I soloed. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And Yeah, it was like one of the, like, I was super happy with that decision because I went to Berlin. Again, I stayed at a hostel. I wound up making friends with all of the people who worked at the hostel, and they told me about, so Berlin is like very well known for their nightlife and their nightclubs.
I'm known for a wall.
What?
I'm known for a wall.
Yeah, that
There's
you
that-
that
there's
you were
that
going to
too.
fly in on that
I
ball.
saw
Right?
that too. Yeah.
And Hasselhoff.
But no, the nightlife scene in Berlin is like insane, and I was there for the weekend, and so I met people or whatever, and they're like, let's go to this place called Sisyphos, and they're like, it's super hard to get into, like you might not get in, but fuck it, let's try. So I met some English dude and these other two girls, and we got on a train and we like went to this nightclub. It was in the middle of nowhere, and we're waiting online for like an hour, maybe hour and a half, and it's very like, apparently in Berlin there's like this unwritten set of rules, like if you're waiting online to go to one of these nightclubs, you're not supposed to be very loud, like you're not supposed to be like smiling and having fun. You don't dress up, like you wear this, like what I'm wearing right now, which is a flannel and sneakers, and you don't say anything to the people at the door until the bouncers.
I like that
going
part.
to
Yeah.
work there.
So yeah, you guys would love it. It's very different from Davis Park. So I'm online, and these two girls, this one chick is from Brooklyn in front of us. So I'm like, we're bullshitting, and she has like gin and tonic in like a liter bottle. So we're kind of hanging out, and we get up to the bouncer, and I kind of like forget about all the rules because like I'm a little drunk and I'm like having a good time. And so I walk up and I'm like, hey man, and I like greeted him, and he just looks at me with the blankest of blank stares, and he's like, okay. That's all he says. And he guides me out the door. So I'm thinking I'm getting into this club, and then I'm like, hey. He's like, yeah, okay. And I'm guided to the exit. And then all of a sudden I'm on the outside of the club, and I'm with everyone else who we were with, and we're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, we just got denied. And so
You blew it?
So I totally blew it. But I wound up going back the next night, which was a Sunday, and I went by myself, and there was like no one online when I got there, and it was the same bouncer when I walked up to him, and I just walked up and I was like, didn't say anything, I just looked at him, and he's like, you here alone? Yeah. It's like, all right, are you from here? No, I'm from the States. All right, what are you doing here? I have a friend inside. Okay. And he's like kind of thinking about it. It's like, all right, have fun. And he like let me in, and it was essentially like an outdoor festival more than it was a nightclub. There were like a series of buildings, and I mean people were fucking partying, like big time.
Did it live up to like the hype of why it's this exclusive thing?
Absolutely. But it was a little much for me. I think because also like these nightclubs don't close.
No, they go on forever.
They go on for like 4 days. So
Yep.
the people who are there on Sunday likely have been there since Friday.
Yeah,
and
they're all tweaked out
they're
of there.
tweaked. Yeah, like they're. But it was definitely if you went there for the weekend and you got in and like you could party, it'd probably be a lot of fun. But it was something that I wanted to just kind of like see and check out.
Like you were speaking about earlier, like a lot of the countries, like the Europeans, are very serious. Like Germans take everything very serious. When like work, engineering, design, laws,
Yeah.
and then partying, it's like its own like separate
like the
brand of seriousness. And like I've
Yeah.
gone out over there before, and I'll go to what I think is like a normal club, and I'll walk inside, and the next thing you know, there's like people line dancing on like light up floors to NWA, and they like know the moves, and I don't know the moves, and then all of a
Line
sudden,
dancing to
swear to
NWA?
God, and all of a sudden they kick all the kids out that are under 18 because they were like letting young kids in at this one place that I was at, and then it turned into like a strip club. And I was like blown away.
Yeah.
Skango would have loved it because it went from like regular bar
dancing
to
and
line
NWA.
dancing,
It's a stripper.
Sounds expensive.
and then like later night it went. Yeah. late at night it turned into just like techno music, but it wasn't like techno music here. It was like boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah, it's crazy techno.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's cool as shit though.
Rammstein.
It's very different from a New York City nightclub, you know. Like I'm not a club going person, but this is like I said, more of like a festival type feel, and yeah, it's just very interesting to observe everyone fucked up. But, yeah.
Not even everyone fucked up. Everyone on like a 2 to 3 day bender fucked up.
Right.
That's like a different type of fucked up.
Yeah.
So I kind of imagine walking into that place after what you said and how people have been partying forever. It's like getting to the boarding barn at 7 o'clock, I feel like.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Like, oh, shit.
Yes. If you threw like a little bit of, like hard drugs into that mix, then...
Oh, there's hard drugs in that mix. Don't fool yourself.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not out in the open.
Yeah,
not German serious hard drugs.
Okay, but,
we're going to get serious this weekend.
I haven't
get
been
the
to a boarding
heroin.
barn in fucking, I don't even, 7 years. I don't know.
That's good, though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the, you see the movie, obviously you see Euro Trip.
Yeah.
Like, the club scene in that is probably what it's like.
Yes.
Where the brother and sister.
Yeah.
They needed that fucking app. They would have fucking. They would have never happened. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at what, the 2 hour mark?
Yeah, a little over.
2 hours.
Are we?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It goes quick. You
Damn.
didn't realize it goes quick.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have you back because I feel like you got a lot more stories to tell.
All right.
And,
Sounds good.
maybe the wrecking ball over here won't hijack the conversation. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Bro,
I'm kidding.
You came at me, bro.
Like a wrecking ball.
I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, we'd love to have you back and talk
I would
some
love
more
to be
about
back.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to plug at all for all 7 of our listeners?
Is that what we have now?
Your Instagram at Flanja.
Flanja.
FLANJUH, right?
Yep.
Yeah, your Instagram is pretty interesting.
Thank you.
I followed your trip on there, and I saw you put up a picture on the train when you were leaving St. Petersburg.
Oh, yeah, I
and
did.
that's why I was like, oh man, I'm pretty glad I got to hear that story because I remember seeing that and thinking like, I don't remember exactly what
it was
the
a very
caption
shortened
was.
version of what happened.
Yeah, you had put up it sounded pretty intense. So yeah, follow Flange's Instagram because it's pretty entertaining.
It's alright.
And then,
yeah, I would love to be back in bullshit sometime, and this is
sure.
fun, and you guys are great. Thanks for
Thanks.
having me.
appreciate it. I think I have an idea in my head for when you come back. Maybe getting one of our other travelers on. And having you guys both sit down at the same time would be pretty interesting. You guys actually know each other, you and Guas.
Yeah.
So I feel like that